So quick update on my portfolio. One of my videos, the 37 halal stocks, is getting a lot of traction, and my stocks turning haram was kind of like a big one. A lot of people really like that one. I did offload a couple more stocks, 3M and Pfizer to be specific, because of the halal haram nature of it. Zoya let me know. That's the convenience of the Zoya app, that I don't actually have to like do individual stocks every time. I just go check if it's Sharia compliant or not. If it's not, then I figure out how to do anything. Luckily, those were in losses. I say lucky because we can do tax loss harvesting. And so 3M is gone, Pfizer is gone. There was a couple other stocks, I believe. So I'm somewhere around 27 or 28 stocks right now. I did pick up UPS. UPS looks pretty solid. And recently I just put in the sell order for today actually. I'm getting rid of Chevron for ethical reasons because of whatever's going on in the world. And I'm thinking about adding SPRE, which has like a 4 point something dividend yield. It's a REIT, so it should probably pay me every month, but I got to check on the details on that. But I'm thinking about putting the money from Chevron into SPRE and actively managing a portfolio, I guess, quote unquote, actively managing, because it's kind of like set it and forget it for the most part. But being conscious of the Sharia compliance of the portfolio is a little taxing sometimes, a little bit disheartening sometimes, but it is the sacrifices that we make. Again, there are ETFs out there. I just want to kind of try it. I just want to do this experiment to see if I can do it, have a better idea of kind of like what goes on and the necessary effort that goes into it. A lot of these ETFs, big problem is that the expense ratios are 0.5, 0.59, somewhere around there, 0.49 maybe. And when you're comparing something against like Vanguard, or you're comparing it against, my phone actually overheated, so I did lose a bunch of that footage. But basically, Vanguard and Fidelity, they have 0.03%, 0.01% ETF. So it's very hard for an Islamic company or Sharia compliant portfolio to compete with these big giants because of assets under management. So unless we make them bigger, hopefully they'll pass that on to the consumer, or else they keep their expense ratio and everyone gets a fat check when they go home. But that being said, I did have the option of putting some money into UIF, which I thought was a very good idea at the time. My income got slashed in half. Not that I'm struggling, because I have play money, right? You have to, I have to be a little bit sympathetic to the cause. I know it sounds kind of weird, but so I did lose kind of half my income, and I did have the option of putting some money into UIF at that time, but I decided to put a little bit more in other places. My phone overheated twice, so I lost the footage 2 times. I had the option to put money in UIF. They were giving 4.11% on the money that you deposit in a time. I think they're called TDs, like time deposits. You can look into the details of that, but basically they use that money to fund the other projects. So it's kind of like they're sharing some of the profit with you, but it's not exactly a profit share model. So it's not riba, it's not interest. It's done differently. But you can look into more details about that. I just know that it's Sharia compliant through reliable scholars and whatnot. And compared to some of the losses I am taking on the dividend portfolio, if I just put the money into there, I probably would have made more money technically. But it's important to diversify and kind of learn these lessons along the way. And if I had the extra cash, I probably would have threw some money in there. But hindsight is 2020. We always think we could beat the market, and that 4.11% is really good, because if you look at interest rates that banks are offering, you have a 4.4. I think JP Morgan Chase finally decided to pay their account holders interest. Not that I'm interested, but it's a pun. And yeah, I think comparatively, I guess the rates are pretty good. Some other places are doing like 5%, but again, interest, so it's not really compliant for us. I just didn't want to lock up my money. I want to have a little bit more access to it, so I can pull it out whenever I need it. So alhamdulillah, I didn't need to withdraw any money. So tax loss harvesting, UIF, changing my portfolio, those are kind of different options. I did start a newsletter if you guys are interested. It's the Merchant Monk on Substack, and I will talk a little bit more about the FIRE movement. And I think based on what's going on in the world right now, it's even more imperative. It is like with absolute certainty and urgency that we need to make sure that we are financially independent, especially people are losing their jobs based on their political views. We need to maintain our independence. We need to make sure that we're not financially constrained, and to be able to speak the truth whenever we can. I thought it was really funny on Twitter. They try to cancel some guy, but he was the CEO of his own company. So they're It's like the CEO's like, oh yeah, I sat myself down and I told myself to stop posting stuff, and it's like, oh no, actually you could continue posting stuff because you're the boss. And I think that's really important. We need to be a little bit more free and not tied down, because financial bondage, and not the good type of bondage, is horrible bondage. And we have to be conscious of that, and we got to make sure that we are doing things properly, ethically, and not to compromise the moral. Why are we earning money if we can't tell the truth? If we can't speak up for the truth? And we shouldn't be afraid of losing it. Yeah, so yeah, those are some of my thoughts. That's kind of the status on some of the stocks in my that's kind of the status of some of the stocks in my portfolio. What I wish I should have done or could have done, but rarely if lets in the work of shaitan, and kind of my outlook for the future, some of my political commentary. So yeah, pew pew pew, pew pew pew. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, thanks.